How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Tremel Taylor. Thank you very much, my king. Well, my royal family, as you can see by the title, up here in Northern California, we have a major fire. I mean, major. And y'all know, anytime y'all send me something, I always do research. So, here we go, my royal family. Let's go on this journey. So the first thing I did is I Googled it, and they're calling this the Red Bank Fire in NorCal, or Northern California. And they just say here briefly, the Red Bank Fire is burning in a remote area, mostly used for cattle ranch, headed northwest toward Patina. Okay. Let's listen to that part. They're trying to keep the masses calm. They're saying it's burning in a remote area. All right. Okay, I did my research on this. Okay. So this is the article that Mr. Taylor sent me. And what I see here, and the update was at 10:02 p.m. September 5th, 2019, Red Bank Fire in NorCal grows to 6,000 acres. 6,000. Evacuations ordered. Ain't no joke. It's a lot going on. I want everybody to pay attention to numbers. These numbers speak volume to us. We see 6,000, I see 17. The divine hand is ever so real. I ain't seen stuff like this ever in my life. So, I'm not going to read all of this. A wildfire in Northern California that burned 60,000 acres on Thursday was caused by lightning, according to CAL FIRE. The Red Bank Fire was 0% contained as of Thursday night. Evacuations have been ordered for parts of Tamamaw County, where the fire originated. First, they want to play it off as in this remote area, okay? So, Scott McLean with CAL FIRE said fire crews will be working overnight to try to contain the blaze, which grew rapidly after it was first reported Thursday afternoon. Okay, and then they said hopefully the winds will calm and the temperature will calm down overnight so the fire stop growing. Well, I know that region. That's about a little over 2 hours from me. It gets very hot. It gets very hot up there this time of year, and that's where mostly the enemy live. And anytime you start hearing something like Redding, or those upper parts of Northern California, I know the region very, very well. So I went over here to Twitter to CAL FIRE, and this was updated about an hour ago, and basically okay, let me click this on. Let's see what they're talking about with more information. Okay, yes, there's a fire. Tamamaw, 0. Okay, you see that 0% contained? It ain't contained at all. And wind will make it grow. Not necessarily heat all the time, the wind. So, my royal family, I have 2 in-depth videos for the royal family. This one is a little over 9 minutes.
Everyone, we are following a developing situation. At about 3 o'clock this afternoon, or shortly around that time, we heard of a fire burning just off to the west of Red Bluff. It's now called the Red Bank Fire. At that time, it was only 40 acres. We are now 3 hours into this fire. It has grown to 4,300 acres. Multiple firefighters on the scene, tankers in the air trying to help assist with the fighting of this fire, but we've got several resources to show you. Want to get you up to speed on what we're following right now to get the latest. Smoke obviously going to be a big concern with this. As you can see from this vantage point right here, a recognizable plume developing from this Red Bank fire. Now over here, I've got the map, so you can see where that camera is pointing. So it's pointing down to the south here, just off to the west of Redding, north of Red Bluff. So again, that's the vantage point that we're looking at. Here's the smoke that is filling the sky. I'm going to change this camera view right now. This one's going to be pointing just a little bit more to the south and west, and this is the view that we see. Again, here's the fire right here and the smoke plume shooting up, filling the sky. Hearing from several people that are saying, yeah, I'm actually seeing this from my cul-de-sac just off to the east of this fire in the Redding area. Many people may be affected tonight by this fire, especially with the smoke, not necessarily in the Sacramento Valley. I want to show you this. Here's a look at our visible satellite image. And what this does, it is a real clear picture of what's happening around that fire and where the smoke is headed. What you're going to notice is that it's heading up to the north and slightly off to the east. Once it kind of hits past Lakehead, it starts to head off to the east. Sacramento being south of this area along I-5, we're not expecting much in the way of smoke from this. Now, want to just point this out. You may be seeing some of this smoke plume right here. This is an additional fire. It's in the Mendocino National Forest. It's not a CAL fire. Still trying to get information on this. The latest that we knew was it was about 80 acres. So that's about 25 miles as the crow flies here from this Red Bank fire. And that's the smoke that we're seeing just shooting up from this. Now, what I find interesting about this is that it looks like there's two different points here where smoke is billowing out. That may be part of the problem, plus the terrain that they're trying to fight in that area. It's pretty far away from Red Bluff. There's cabins that may be affected there, but additionally the smoke, obviously. So what are the weather conditions like there? Well, not surprising, it's hot, and it has been hot for the past several hours. Temperatures have been holding in the 90s, but keep in mind, we haven't seen rain in several months. Everything is just crisp. The fuel is ready to go with any spark, and I'll talk a little bit about that spark in just a moment. First of all, let's take a look at the winds. Right now at about 15 to 25 miles per hour out of the south to southeast. So that's why we're seeing the winds come from this direction, pushing that direction. Okay, so that's why that smoke is heading up in that way. The one thing that I want to point out is east winds, those are offshore winds. They spend a considerable amount of time over land and are very dry winds, which brings down the humidity. So that's going to be that next graphic there that I wanted to show. Humidity only at about 10 to 15%. We've actually seen that humidity come.
I'm going to stop that right there, my royal family. Now, I don't know what 9 represents. I'll get to it. 11, chaos, disorder, and judgment. 17, overcoming the enemy and a complete victory.
Down somewhat in the last couple of hours. So again, we've got heat, we've got wind, and we've got low humidity. Now let's talk about the spark. We had a red flag warning in this area yesterday at this time. It lasted through early this morning, and part of the reason why is because we had numerous thunderstorms popping. Even last night at 11 p.m. when I joined you for LNT, I was still tracking thunderstorms in this region. And I can try to take it back 24 hours, but I doubt that we're going to be able to, might be able to get that data all the way into about 24. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Early this morning, so there we go. This is last night at 11:30. Look at how much thunderstorm activity and lightning we were getting. Now, there was some wetting rain, which is good news because we don't want to see the lightning without the wetting rain. But here we go. You can see at 1 o'clock this morning, we're still getting some lightning, some rain as well. That doesn't mean it couldn't start a fire. It's just it's grown so fast, it's hard to say if it was lightning or not. Certainly something that they're going to be looking at right now, and I can check this. CAL FIRE has not determined a cause as far as I know. Let's see. Let me view the details real quick here. I just want to, cause under investigation. There are mandatory evacuations happening right now from in and around this fire. Let me go ahead and read you some of the evacuations. Let's see. I've got so many screens open here. Okay, so this is off Hammer Loop Road and Pettyjohn Road, west of Red Bluff in Tehama County. Again, evacuations in progress, and it's going to be right around that area. Want to make sure I'm following the right fire because we have a couple burning in the area. Okay, so there we go. Let's see, some Wild Horse Ranch now it says under mandatory evacuation. That's from a weather spotter. Many evacuations obviously taking place just basically due to how quickly this spread. Again, we were watching this earlier today. I'm going to go back to the cameras because that is such a powerful image right there. We were watching this earlier today, and it was only at about 40 acres, and within 3 hours exploded to about 4,300 acres. Somebody said that there was a drone in the area and they had to ground some air tankers. I did see some drone footage on Twitter, and people were commenting, get the drone out of the area so we can get those tankers up. I remember, if drones are up, fire tankers can't go up. Firefighting crews can't go up. The air assist has to stop. It is too dangerous for them to fly. These are big aircraft, and conditions are very erratic around that fire line. So again, this is going to be just off to the west of Red Bluff, where we're looking at that smoke plume right there. A lot of smoke in and around the area, so be aware of that. The smoke right now doesn't appear like it is going to move its way through the valley at this point, down to the Sacramento area. We will be watching that though, because obviously that could be a big concern. Just if you scroll through some of these pictures, amazing. A lot of people saying, here we go again. I think this is just so raw, given what happened last year. This, by the way, is one of the most critical times for firefighters. Because we've had so many months without any rain, and now we're looking at weather patterns that can really help to fan the flames so quickly. With everything so dry, we have just matchsticks out there right now. One of the hard things is, some of you may remember, we had a lot of rain in May, record rain for some areas. That's not necessarily a good thing when you talk about regrowth, something that is already dried. Then you've got this regrowth down at the bottom level, and then that dries out. So it's almost like you've given more undergrowth, and then that dries out. It adds additional fuel for these fires, something that we'll be following. The only other thing I want to mention here before I go is resources. Now, earlier this year we talked about, or I should say this season, we talked about that there haven't been these huge mega fires at this point, which was a good thing because the resources could attack these smaller fires very quickly. Keep in mind, we've got a couple of bigger fires going on right now. The Tanaha fire, which was down in Southern California, getting a little bit better handle on that, but that was a rapidly growing fire. And now this one popping up in Northern California. Resources likely are pretty good at this point to get to those fires, but that could become a concern if we start to see these fires growing to a point where we're putting multiple agencies on these fires. Again, we're going to be following this through tonight on the LNT. That's at 11 o'clock right here on ABC 10. We hope to see you there, and be sure to follow Madison Meyer and myself on Twitter. We will be updating those accounts as well as our Facebook page if it deems necessary. Looks like cooler weather ahead for the weekend forecast. That certainly will help for firefighting efforts, as well as higher humidity. All right, that is a look at that fire weather update for you tonight.
All right, my radio family, as we continue on, and it is already 11:12 p.m. in California, I will check ABC 10 to see if we can get any update. But as we continue on, someone else covered this fire too as well.
Hey, Kevin John here. I am right off Petty John Road, approximately 20 to 25 miles west of Red Bluff, and we just got on the scene here. As you can see out in the distance there, fire is burning. At this time, we're told about 4,300 acres is burning, and 0% containment at this time. Now, part of the reason 0% containment is because it is extremely difficult to get out here and access where this particular fire is located. As you can see, it's in a remote area, so it's not easily accessible off the highway. We have seen quite a few emergency vehicles go down the highway and try to access the fire. We've also seen a few helicopters and airplanes in the sky. I don't know if they're dropping water or retardant, whatever they're using to fight the fire. But what we do know is this fire has been burning since this afternoon. Started off at around 400 acres, quickly grew to about 1,000 acres, then on to 2,500 acres, and eventually 4,300, which is what we're told at this point in time. Also, the wind could be a factor on whether or not the fire grows. As of right now, it's not too windy out here, so I guess that is a good thing. But firefighters definitely trying to do the best that they can at this point in time just to contain it. But once again, this is off Petty John Road, about 20 to 25 miles west of Red Bluff. As far as evacuations are concerned, as you can see, it's not a very densely populated area out here. So pretty much the only evacuations have been, there's a few cabins, about 13 cabins up to where the fire is actually burning. There's also quite a few ranches in the area as well, so quite a few of them have had to evacuate their areas just for safety. We will continue to keep you updated with evacuations on our website, abc10.com. But in the meantime, 4,300 acre fire burning out here, about 20 miles west of Red Bluff. We're going to try to get a little bit closer to get you some more information and just to kind of let you know the latest on this. In the meantime, just be sure to look at abc10.com for all the latest updates.
All right, my royal family, let's go right into it and see what more I can pull up. So, all right. Oh, I had already went into it once. Totally forgot. So let's see what we got here. Okay, this is 27 minutes ago, and let's see if we get anything different.
An update on a rapidly developing fire. Now the Red Bank fire is burning just off to the west of Red Bluff, as you can see, and close to Redding as well. Now this is the smoke plume that we can see from our visible satellite imagery. Smoke heading up to the north and just slightly off to the east. Folks in the Redding area just looking off to their west are saying, yeah, we're seeing smoke out there just around our homes. Temperatures have been hovering in the 90s for several hours, making firefighting conditions very warm. Plus, we've got some winds that are unfortunately anywhere between 15 to 25 miles per hour. Those are also dry winds. There's not much moisture in that as well, with humidity running anywhere from about 15 to 10% around the region. Very dry brush this time of year. Keep in mind, we haven't seen rain for several months now, so that fuel is prime to just light up and ignite. Part of the reason that we had that red flag warning yesterday is because of that red flag.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop this for just a second. Anybody that's not familiar with Northern California, look at the names of these areas that you see. This is mostly snow country, and then you will have a lot of Mexicans and stuff. Now we're not down here in Stockton. That's going south. We're going north. We're going Red Bluff. We're going Redding. Okay, Mount Shasta, Eureka, all those places, Quincy, all of those places. See how close Reno is to us. It takes no time to get, but it's not hitting the Sacramento area or Placerville. So further up north. I want y'all to have that, be real clear with that. Let's finish this up.
Live warning was because of thunderstorms. Now we're still seeing some isolated cells, but in and around the fire, it's been fairly dry for today. But last night, even at 11 o'clock, there were still thunderstorms popping in that area. Again, that's part of this low pressure system off the coast that can fire off an additional lift that we need to get those thunderstorms going. That's going to start to exit the region for tonight. It will also help to change the weather pattern a bit, more onshore flow, elevate that humidity just a little bit and bring down the temperatures, but that's not going to happen until about Saturday into Sunday.
All right, my radio family. So we know that it's still saying here as of 9:28 p.m., which we already is. It's 11:18. It just changed. It was 11:17, but it changed to 11:18. You know how I trip with the numbers. So it's still 0% contained. I know that this fire is larger than 6,000 acres, but we know what 6,000 represents. The enemy was allowed to rule and reign for 6 days, essentially. So let's go back here. My royal family. We got fires in Akibalan, fires in Amazon, they have fires in Antarctica, Alaska. We have a horrific hurricane that literally wiped out a large portion of the Bahamas. Now it's hitting the Carolinas. We have had volcanoes go off. We have had earthquakes going off. And I have to go back to what I said before. Everything that we will see will be in biblical proportions. The divine hand has truly came down, and I'm just giving the royal family a heads up. Nothing will ever be the same again. We are totally out of our captivity. I was trying to take the attitude that we would gradually see things. Lisa had warned us that things will increase. It is hard to ignore, my royal family. When you look at something like this, we know that it's going to get bigger and bigger, and people are having to evacuate. I know that area very well. So I will keep the royal family updated. And my king, thank you, Mr. Taylor, for doing what you always do. So my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.